All right, let's dive into one of the most complex and frankly disturbing stories of our time. It's a tale of incredible power, dark secrets, and abuse that has absolutely captivated and horrified the entire world.
You've got an island paradise that was allegedly turned into a private prison, a web of some of the most powerful people on the planet, and, of course, a mysterious death in a high-security jail cell that just seems to create more questions than answers. So what's really going on here?
I'm sure you've seen the headlines and heard the names thrown around. Epstein Island, the Lolita Express, that infamous list of names. It can all get pretty confusing. Today, we're going to connect the dots and try to build a clearer picture of what we actually know.
To really get this story, we have to start at the epicenter, the place where so many of these horrific crimes allegedly took place. A private island in the Caribbean that was hiding some very, very dark secrets.
So take a look at this. This place, Little St. James, it wasn't just some luxury retreat. We're talking about a 72-acre island that had everything from private docks to this really bizarre blue and white striped temple-looking building. When the FBI raided the island, they found evidence of possible underground tunnels, weird statues everywhere, a massive CCTV network, and even hormonal medications. The whole setup just screams total control and absolute secrecy.
Which begs the question, right? How on earth did one man build this private kingdom? Who was Jeffrey Epstein? To understand that, we've got to rewind and look at his incredible and pretty disturbing path to power.
I mean, his rise is just wild. He starts off as a math teacher in the 70s at a prestigious school, but he quickly pivots to Wall Street. By the 90s, he's managing money for billionaires, most famously the founder of Victoria's Secret, Leslie Wexner, and he's raking in huge commissions. That money is what allowed him to build this empire of mansions, private jets, and ultimately a ton of global influence.
But all that money, all that influence, it was hiding something truly horrifying. He wasn't just using his power for luxury, he was using it to build a sophisticated and predatory trafficking network.
And he absolutely did not act alone. This breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you had Epstein, the financier. He created the system. He had the properties. He hosted all the powerful guests. And on the other side, you had Ghislaine Maxwell, his partner and a British socialite. According to the courts, her job was to be the recruiter, to find, groom, and prepare underage girls for abuse.
And this is where the story gets even more unsettling. Because look at the social circle. Flight logs show former President Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's private jet 26 different times. Donald Trump was a known friend back in the 90s, though they reportedly had a falling out. And of course, there's Britain's Prince Andrew, whose connection to Epstein would ignite a full-blown crisis for the royal family.
And the fallout for Prince Andrew was massive. After being publicly accused by survivor Virginia Giuffre, he was forced to step down from all his royal duties, pay out millions in a settlement to avoid a civil trial, and was eventually stripped of his royal title. It was an absolutely stunning fall from grace.
So you're probably asking yourself, how did he get away with this for so long? Well, that's the million-dollar question. His first major brush with the law back in 2008 led to what might be one of the most controversial legal deals in modern history, a deal that really shines a light on a catastrophic failure of the justice system.
Okay, let's just walk through this because it's pretty unbelievable. He's facing federal charges that could have put him away for life. But somehow, his legal team cuts a secret deal, a non-prosecution agreement. Now, these deals are usually meant to get a small fish to flip on a bigger one. But this deal protected Epstein himself, plus any of his potential co-conspirators. The victims? They were kept completely in the dark. In the end, he served just 13 months. And even then, he got work release 6 days a week. It sent a pretty clear message. If you're powerful enough, the rules just don't seem to apply.
But, a secret that big, it can't stay buried forever. And about a decade later, thanks to some incredible journalism and the unbelievable courage of his survivors, the justice system was finally forced to confront its past failure.
And once things started moving, the dominoes fell fast. In 2018, an explosive investigative report blew the whole case wide open again. By July 2019, Epstein was arrested on new federal charges. No sweetheart deal this time. But then, just over a month later, he's found dead in his cell. The investigation didn't stop, though. It led to Ghislaine Maxwell's arrest in 2020, and she was ultimately sentenced to 20 years in prison.
But Epstein's death, that sparked a total firestorm of speculation. The official cause of death was suicide, but the circumstances surrounding it were so strange that they immediately raised some very troubling questions. Okay, so the official ruling is suicide, but just look at the facts. The 2 security cameras pointed directly at his cell. Oh, they just happened to malfunction that night. The 2 guards who were assigned to watch him both fell asleep. And maybe the biggest red flag of all, he had just been taken off suicide watch. You can see why so many people believe this was less of a tragic failure and more of a deliberate silencing.
So, Epstein is dead, Maxwell is in prison, but this story is far, far from over. The fallout is still spreading, and the fight for the complete truth is now focused on a huge mountain of sealed court documents. Now, in the wake of all this, there has been some form of financial justice. A compensation fund was created from Epstein's massive estate, and it's paid out over $121 million to more than 150 of his survivors. And while that's a significant amount of money, for many, true justice is about much more than a check.
And that's where these Epstein files come in. They're basically a massive collection of court documents from civil lawsuits. After years of legal battles, a judge ordered them to start being unsealed, revealing all sorts of new names and details. But here's the thing. We're only scratching the surface. There are still over 1 million pages of documents that remain sealed, under lock and key, potentially hiding the full scope of this network.
It's really staggering when you step back and think about it. This whole story, which has morphed into one of the biggest corruption scandals in modern history, it all started with the quiet, brave voice of one young girl back in 2005. Which leaves us with the ultimate hanging question. Jeffrey Epstein may be gone, but the powerful network he built and the secrets he kept, they still cast a very long shadow. As more files are unsealed, you have to wonder, will the full truth ever come to light? Or are some secrets just too powerful to ever be revealed?